Hello everyone, welcome to the video. I just want to put a quick disclaimer about this video is that number one, these are just my opinions and my opinions only. Hours, I am rank 1 on Killer and on Survivor at one time or another, and I just been playing ever since, you know, update patches, everything, etc. Alright, and the second one I want to get over is that this is only on console. I'm not including PC because I have no experience with PC or anything like that. I know PC is very different and more stabilized than console, and we'll get into the positives and negatives about Dead by Daylight on console. I hope you enjoy. Number one on why I think Dead by Daylight is a great game is the playable characters. Now, it's more on the killer side than the survivor side, because killers, we have Michael Myers. I used to watch Michael Myers movies when I was younger. I was born in '97. So, you know, these movies come along later with some older people that show it to you. And Michael Myers has been an iconic killer since it came out. And they came out with the Halloween movies and several Michael Myers movies. So he's just very iconic. I love playing as him too. Number two that kind of came out in my somewhat era is Scream, which aka is Ghostface. I just said Scream because it's the movie. He's not actually Scream, but it's Ghostface. Ghostface, I've always watched the Scream movies. So it was very iconic to see him in this game. You could be Ghostface and use his abilities of what he basically does in the movie is sneak around and stab people, which is, you know, it's a cool thing to do. Another one that I'm not familiar with is it's from a series called Stranger Things. They have Demogorgon. It's the monster they find at the end and etc. that basically tries to kill them. So there's just a lot of killers, and not to mention Freddy Krueger. I've never really been a fan of Freddy Krueger, but like I've watched the Jason versus Freddy Krueger things. Like you could play these iconic people. Now on the Survivor side, we have Bill. He's from Left 4 Dead.
Ah, God damn it, son of a bitch!
I'm with you.
Francis.
So we have Steve. He's from Stranger Things.
This is what I'm talking about.
Just being these iconic characters just gives you a good vibe in this game. You could be the people you've always watched in the movies. Number two is the gameplay aspect. And when I mean gameplay aspect, I mean the objective of the game, how it's played, and the different variations and what's different every game that's different from the other matches to not get bored. So I like the gameplay a lot. It's 1 versus 4, so 1 killer versus 4 survivors, and I like the aspect that you can go solo into a game either as a survivor or a killer. And killer is just straight solo. It is up to you to kill those survivors. It is up to you to be good as possible to win the game, get 4 kills, etc. That just gives me more of a competition vibe, which we'll get into later on. And survivors, you can have your buddies in, you can all play together, survive together, have fun, do different things, just like what a video game is supposed to, bring people together. So the gameplay aspect is very nice, and I just want to mention, like, it's a 1 versus 4, right? There's 5 generators. You get those 5 generators done, you go to either one of the 2 exit gates or the hatch when you're the last survivor, or you have a key or different items. So I just like the gameplay aspect. There's not a lot of games out there that get this right, but this is very unique, a 1 versus 4 on console with killers and survivors. Like, that's crazy, and it's another reason why I'm addicted to this game and I love it. So let's get on to the next point. So coming in at number 3 is competition. Dead by Daylight has a wide range of competition, and the skill gap, probably being from beginner to an expert at this game, is it takes a lot of hours to really get the hang of this game and everything, and knowing the maps, knowing the perks, knowing the god loops and everything like that, how to basically mind game a killer. So, and it goes on the killer side. Killer has to do time management. You have to make sure these guys are non-generators. You got to know the perks. You got to know all sorts of things. You got to know if you're wasting your time on a survivor too much. You got to know you got to know your killer too, and how he plays the best. So there's like so many variables and factors to this game, is what makes this game so unique and competitive. The competitive aspect is my favorite aspect of this game, in my opinion, and what makes this game really good. If there was no competition, it was just the same thing every game, like nothing would happen. So there's a random map that's chosen every game, unless you put an offering, which there's offerings and items too that can help you as a survivor or a killer. So that's another aspect into that competition category. So map is randomly picked, and then it depends on the survivors and killers, and you could pick up to 4 perks. Both survivor and killers have 4 perks, and all 4 of these perks, they can do unique things. One can heal you faster, or you can save a teammate, and he can have this thing called borrowed time, where if the killer goes and tunnels them, which tunneling is basically going after the same survivor every time you after a hook state or not, and so he gets an extra hit and gets to run away. Another really OP perk is sprint burst. Sprint burst basically gives you like 150% sprint to somewhere else or wherever you're going, so the killer can't hit you. You also have life, decisive strike. There's so many perks. I'm not gonna get into every perk, but there is a lot of perks that you could figure out what is best for you. For me, as a survivor, I use dead hard, life, decisive strike, and I switch between self-care and spine chill depending if I'm playing with friends or by myself, or I'll put borrowed time too. If you really want to look at like what those do, just look up borrowed time or anything like that and you'll find out. But there's a lot of perks. I can't get into everything, you know, time constriction here. And so the competition, there's so many factors, like what items are the survivors using, what map are we going to, what killer am I, what survivors have, are they in survivors with friends, are they not? You just don't know. There's so many different factors. Where do the exit gates spawn? Are they across from each other, right by each other? Yada yada yada. There's just so many different situations you can get in this game. So that's probably my favorite aspect about Dead by Daylight. That keeps making me come back to it, even if it pisses me off, which we'll get to the negatives, trust me. But this is like probably the best aspect in my mind about Dead by Daylight. So we're gonna go on to number 4. Alright, on number 4, I'm going to be talking about the ranks and challenges. The ranking system in this game is kind of iffy. But ranks, they give you something to work for. They give you something like to basically gloat. Be like, hey, I'm rank 1 killer, or I'm rank 1 survivor. They just give you something to do so you're not bored in the game. So that's why I like ranks. They keep you busy. Like when I first started trying to get the rank 1 killer, like that was keeping me busy. That was making me come back to this game to get to rank 1 killer, to be better, to be everything. And then we're gonna move on to the challenges. Now there's different totems, not totems, what are they called? Tomes, that give you different challenges for blood points. And as we know, blood points, you need to level up your survivor or your killer to get perks and get add-ons and etc. So blood points is a major part of this game. It's basically the in-game currency to level up your character. So these challenges, they help a bit, and a lot of them are easy, so they help a bit. Like one challenge will be 25,000 blood points and 30,000 blood points, 50,000 blood points. But the main point I want to get here is that they help you with blood points and they give you something to do. So that's good for longevity of the game. You know, you want to play a game. If you really love a game, you want to play it throughout the year and not just like for a couple months until you get bored, you know? So this like plays into the longevity of the game and something to work for. So that's my number 4. Number 5, last but not least, is the customization of cosmetic items in this game. This is not Call of Duty. This is not Battlefield. There's no loot boxes. There's no loot anything. It's just straight up, you either get these from events like Christmas or Halloween, or you just get it from the tier system, which is basically like copying from Fortnite. It's basically a battle pass system, which I somewhat don't like, but you still get free things from if you just keep playing, and you get some unique things. But anyways, let's just say like most of the DLC killers, like Michael Myers, Ghostface, you know, Legion, Gunslinger, Freddy Krueger, they're all DLC, and you have to either pay for them with the in-game currency that is called iridescent shards. You have to pay them with iridescent shards, which you get from leveling up in the game. So that, you know, if you play the game, they reward you with these, so you can buy things. Okay, there's some items in the game, some cosmetics. There's a lot of good cosmetics in this game. I love the cosmetics, like the one lava one where it just basically burns their whole face, and there's different masks, different body types, different pants, different items to kill. So there's a lot of customization in that too. But a lot of it is paywall, but most of the time if you play the game you can buy them with but basically cosmetics are really cool in this game, and there's a lot to do with that. So that's probably on my like bottom list, because it's kind of like you have to buy things more like to get this type of stuff. But those are probably my positives of the game. You wrap everything, all of my 5 points, you wrap them all together, you got Dead by Daylight positivity on why people play this game. And my number one was the competition, and then the gameplay itself, and the playable killers, and the nostalgia, you know, it gives me, and just the actions in general I do with it. And then the ranking and challenges keep me busy throughout the day and months, to give me blood points, to get perks, etc. And then the cosmetics, which, you know, that's just an added cherry on top. Hope you guys enjoyed the video about the positives of Dead by Daylight. I'm going to make a separate video about the negatives of Dead by Daylight due to time constrictions, and I want to make another upload to that. And so if you disagree with me, put it down in the comments. If you agree with me, you can also put it down in the comments, or give me a suggestion of anything I missed that you enjoy in Dead by Daylight that makes you come back to the game, and everything like that. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. You guys have a great day. I'll see you next time about the negatives.